branches of trees, whatever, canes, and they will beat you until these branches or canes perish in their hands before they will stop. And that was the situation I was left in.
Musa regained consciousness in a so-called dungeon. In reality, one of the camp's latrine pits.
I was kept there for the rest of my stay in the West Side Boys. For me, the dungeon is my own accommodation, it's my room, my everything.
The SAS mission to rescue Musa and the other hostages is still 8 minutes away from launch. But members of a small reconnaissance team are already embedded at the very edge of the West Side Boys camp. In deep camouflage, they've been here undetected for 5 days and nights. They've eaten, slept, and worked while barely moving and under constant assault from jungle insects and the soaking tropical heat.
Just great. Sierra Green Alpha, all quiet. Everybody's sleeping off the effects of the hooch.
Roger that. Same here. Sierra Green Beta.
All clear around the target? Over.
The SAS observers have witnessed firsthand some of the abuse endured by the hostages, but have had to remain hidden, unable to intervene. But right now, the SAS rescuers are preparing to board their Chinooks for the short journey to the West Side Boys camp. One way or another, the hostages' ordeal will end within the coming hour. Throughout their long days of captivity, the British hostages have been trapped in a brutal game of Russian roulette with rebels whose violent behavior was fueled by drink and drugs. But the target for their most savage abuse was always Musa Bangura.
You know, I was having so much pain that at some point I never felt any pain. Even when they were beating me, I would not feel pain because it's like my body became immune to the beatings and all these terrible things that were happening to me. And these guys would come in the morning, afternoon, or whatever, whenever, drag me out of this pit, give me thorough beatings, and threw me inside the pit again.
As usual, Camp Commandant Kontabi was on hand to oversee Musa's humiliation.
And they will shit on me because they are using the pit as well as a toilet pit. I have no way to move out because I'm tired. Even if I struggle, I will just go deeper into the mud. So I have to sit still. After the shit, some of them will come, oh look, you all dirty, let's come and clean him. And then 4 or 5 of them will stand on top of the pit and they'll start to urinate on my head so that the shit will drain off, you know. And unfortunately, that is my accommodation. My food was also in that place. I have to drink some of the mud. And but it's terrible, it's just too bad, it's just terrible. No, I never knew I was going to come out alive in that situation. I never knew that.
As the days passed, Kontabi's mood was becoming increasingly volatile. It would lead to one of the most dangerous moments of the British hostages' captivity. Kontabi was one of several commanders vying with Fode Calais for control of the West Side Boys. The presence of the British captives gave him a chance to exercise his growing power.
Out! Out! It's okay, okay.
Let's do the fresh air.
Now, move. Move!
Good morning, Brigadier.
Why did you speak? Who gave you permission? When you see me, you bow and say good morning, Commandant.
Good morning, Commandant.
Bow! Bow to me like the British bow to Idi Amin. You?
Good morning, Commandant.
These people were fueled with drink and drugs, and also fueled with the adrenaline and the agitation of the situation that they'd got. And so, on the one hand, they would be perfectly plausible, and then, you know, a couple of minutes later, they would be completely off the wall.
On your knees.
Major Marshall really had to be careful not to get frustrated with this or lose a temper or react, because the only reaction would have been that the West Side would have picked up his weapon and opened fire.
And put your hands on your head! One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Remember your numbers. You will be executed by your number. Ready to fire.
Condemned men are entitled to a last request. No?
And what will that be, Major?
A drink, Commandant. We'd all like a drink.
Why not? Go and bring enough for everyone.
Marshall was desperately gambling that Kontabi couldn't resist any excuse for alcohol.
Marshall will probably remain pretty tight-lipped about what happened during that time. Almost every day he came across this kind of situation, and it reinforces this aspect that his approach was to resolve the situation successfully. And at times he was prepared to do it at the prospective cost of his own life in place of the men that was with him as well.
This time, Marshall's quick thinking worked. Kontabi walked away to his own stash of alcohol and passed out. The threat for now was over, but their lives would be in constant danger until the hour of the SAS assault. British helicopters have just taken off for a 20-minute journey to the West Side Boys' camp at Gaberi Bana. The small SAS observer team hidden at the edge of the camp will guide the Chinooks to pre-arranged landing zones and provide covering fire as the assault force arrives. Meanwhile, the West Side Boys' leader, Fode Calais, remains asleep, surrounded by stolen money, cocaine, and 830 uncut diamonds. This hoard makes Calais one of Sierra Leone's few millionaires. But for all his wealth, Calais' authority is now at its lowest. Many of the rebels intend to defy him and hold on to the captives to extract a higher price from British negotiators.
No.
Something's up.
I don't hear anything.
Really, something's up. Listen.
In the early days after the patrol's capture, British Army commanders in Sierra Leone had tried to secure their immediate release but had got nowhere. The West Side boys had not even given any evidence that the hostages were still alive.
Any news?
Not since this morning when they confirmed the RV.
Okay.
But Marshall's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Simon Fordham, was about to meet Fode Calais for the first time.
I became insistent that I wanted to speak to Calais because I wanted a reassurance from him that the patrol was unharmed and was going to be released. Eventually, after a lot of arguing with the West Siders, they agreed to a meeting at 4:30 that afternoon. The key tenet for me on that second day was that we wanted proof of life, and that from every meeting from then on we would demand this, and we would demand an assurance that the patrol was not being harmed in any way and they were to be treated properly.
Colonel, we have more negotiations, eh?
We want this resolved as soon as possible.
So do we.
Fordham was about to learn how difficult that would be.
You bring what we demand.
We have food, water, medicines, and the sat phone. They're outside. Now, when can we expect the first release of hostages?
My commanders here, they demand free education in Britain. You pay.
What?
Yes.
Any idea what it is you'd like to study?
You pass on our demand.
I'll alert the University of London.
I was particularly concerned about was that the patrol was going to be shot and killed out of hand. And it would either be as a deliberate act that Calais would do because he just couldn't handle the situation, or that the anarchy in this group would get out of control, especially at night, and an accident could happen or things could get out of control and the patrol would get hurt. So it was very important that we got the patrol and got these soldiers out of this situation as quickly as possible.
Now, let me talk to Captain Laverty. I want to see how my men are being treated.
They are soldiers, Colonel. They are treated as soldiers.
It was quite clear to me that we were going to have to mount a rescue operation. We might get somewhere with the negotiations, and if we were, it would have to be quick. And that's really the premise upon which we then went on.
Oi! You stay there! Stay there!
Hello, Captain. Can you tell me how you all are?
We're all being treated well, sir. Including Lieutenant Bangura.
You tell everyone we're going to resolve this very soon. We're doing all we can.
Will do, sir.
Captain John Laverty only came 2 or 3 times, and on the second time we had an incident of gaining intelligence which was pretty profound at the time. He came forward under guard to me, we shook hands, and it was obvious that he had something in his hand. I took it away, put it in my pocket, and did it without everybody else was there, but no one else saw it.
Remember, Colonel, never try to attack us, or your soldiers will die. And keep your helicopters away from us.
Was a map that had been drawn by the team of where they were being held, what buildings they were in, where the sentries were, and that was invaluable information because satellite photography can give you where they were, but what you don't get from that is actually what is